Okay, coming back in to finish up showing you guys how to do the sketch and wash. I've done just a few things. I've done a little bit of adding water just to make sure it was going on correctly. I did add some rocks down here for the sea lion, and I did add just one piece of kelp in there. I just wanted to show you guys you can pull pictures from elsewhere and again incorporate a background if you're not happy with just the plain background that you have. I know for me, again, just plain water is never easy. If you guys have chosen an animal like an orca and you're working from a picture that's, I want you to keep in mind, like an orca is just black and white. It is going to be hard to find a lot of value, but I know you can do it, so just be patient and take your time with it. Okay, materials you're going to need when you are able to start using the water. I would suggest that you still keep at least one of the sketch and wash pencils handy. So I've got a medium wash here. That's perfect. I'm going to have that with me. And then there are three sizes of these really cool water pen brushes. I would not use the red. The red one is huge. There is the green and there's the blue. You can see that the green is much smaller than the blue. I prefer to use the green one because I would rather work slower in a smaller area and not have a big area fill in all at once. You're going to find that if you were to take your brush, squeeze the water out, and just go over the whole thing's just going to blend in. You're going to lose all of your value that you've drawn, and you're not going to be able to get it back because remember, the white highlights and the lighter parts of your picture are going to be based on the white of the paper or the lighter areas of the paper. And once you darken it up, you cannot use an eraser to lighten it up. Once that water's added, the eraser is not going to do anything to help you out. It's also really important to have some towels with you. I've just got a paper towel. You guys need to grab a towel from the back of the room. The reason is if your water drips, you want to be able to dab at it real quick to make sure it's not going to drip anywhere else or if it comes out too fast. And you guys will be all set and have all the materials. So, and with these, what you do is the top just screws off and you go to the sink and you fill it with water. At the end of class, when it's cleanup time, what you need to do is you need to unscrew it and empty it. You're going to notice that these start to get kind of black. The water starts to get black because sometimes as you squeeze the water out, it'll pull some back in. So you want to take your time with that. So again, I need you guys to make sure you have the photo or photos that you're working from out with you. And you're constantly looking to see where those light and dark areas will be. So the way that this works is there are little sides on this that actually say, I don't know if you can see it here, it says push. Those two sides are where you're going to squeeze it, and I'll do it on top of my paper towel. I don't know if it's too close. As I squeeze it, you'll notice that water will drip out of it. So that's where the water's going to come in that you're going to use. The alternate would have been to have just a plain paintbrush and a cup of water, but this way you don't have to worry about that. But again, my towel is going to be handy because I'm going to constantly be cleaning my brush off. So I'm going to do this little part underneath the sea lion, and I'm going to squeeze, and the water starts to come out, and you can see how it's blending in, and it gets really dark really fast. And so I'm going to squeeze a little bit, and my paper is up and down like on an easel, so yours will be flat. Don't pick it up because it will drip. I'm trying very hard not to let mine drip down as gravity would pull it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squeeze and clean my brush off so that it's clean. And now I'm going to come out a little bit farther and I'm going to squeeze a bunch of water and I'm going to let this water come, and as I'm still squeezing, I'm going to let it meet the darker area, and I'm going to clean my brush off again, and I'm going to come out here to where there's less pen or graphite, and you're going to notice, constantly cleaning, you're going to notice that as you do that, you'll get that nice value change. So you can see that there is a nice value change from light to dark, and it's real gradual. That's what you want to do. And again, I'm cleaning my brush. I just want to constantly do that. And I'm going to work in sections. So when I come to an area where there's nothing, I can come to this next section, and I could squeeze a little bit and have it blend. And you can see how it starts to pool up a little bit with the color. So I'm going to clean, and I'm going to add just more water, I'm squeezing quite a bit, and I want it to be pretty subtle. So I'm going to clean my brush again, and I'm going to try to get it over here where there's nothing. I'm going to put some water where there's nothing and gradually let it blend. It's very similar to watercolors. You've noticed in the past whether you're well, I would imagine, I haven't worked with most of you guys with watercolors, but you know wherever the paper's wet, the color will travel. So if you're painting that rainbow like you used to do when you were little, and you'd paint the yellow and then you'd come in and you'd paint blue right next to it, you'd notice that the blue and the yellow would start to mix. You want to make sure that you keep areas that you want white dry. So I'm going to let this area dry before I come in and start blending again. So you can notice from a distance that it starts to look like it's got a nice sense of 3D going on. And I'm just going to continue working with that. So I can do the same here. A little bit up above so it gives that look. Sorry about that. Gives that look that it's rounded. Clean my brush. And just kind of going in. And I'm going to let some of these lines, as you're supposed to be looking at your picture, some of these lines should be there to show a little bit of detail on the animal. So you're just blending them, but for the eye it is going to stay there. And the ear flap, you don't want that to disappear, so I'm going to add a little bit of paint, water to it and let it blend, but I'm going to let it dry like that. And you're just going to work your way through your picture. And again, this is going to take you a couple of days. You shouldn't be done. I've seen in the past people start with the water and they're done in 20 minutes. That's not what you want to do. You need to take your time. You need to slow down because you want everything to come together. Down in here where I've added the rocks, what I can do is I can squeeze and I can start to get the darkness, the darkness that you would see. It's nice because rocks are usually dark, so there's definitely the highlights, the lighter parts of the rock, and I'm definitely going to make sure I don't get anything, no water or anything there, so that it stays white. Now let's say you've got some areas where you want to add a little bit more texture to it. That's where you can come in with that pencil and you can add, where it's a little wet, some detail. That's the light one I'm going to use. Let's see, I've got the medium one. And I can add some detail that I'm not going to blend, but it's going to give some texture to the rocks, and it's blending a little bit because the paper is wet. You'll notice that on something like a starfish, if you've chosen a starfish, when you have done all the value on the starfish, let's say this is the arm of a starfish, just for example, when you come back in, while it's wet, you could add all those little details that help define or show the texture for that starfish or whatever animal that you have. I've also got the kelp up here. I could do the same thing. Kelp's pretty rough. It seems smooth because it's slimy, but there's the whole, the air bladder that sometimes you guys step on at the beach. Those are pretty shiny and round. So if I want to, I can take the outside of the air bladder, cleaning my brush, and a little to the inside, and try to get it so that it looks more like a sphere, which I think, sorry, I totally took the camera off that, so it looks more like a sphere. And then here I'm going to just kind of add water to one side so that it looks like it has value. And again, as you back away from it just a little bit, you'll notice that it starts to really come together and look like it is 3D. I think the rocks really show that too. It starts to really come together. And it just is a matter of continuing and working on the whole sea lion, which, like I said, would take quite a while, so I'm not going to videotape that whole thing. We're almost at 10 minutes right now, and I want you guys to be able to get started when you come to that point. And as soon as I finish this one, I'll go ahead and I'll send this final piece in with Mr. Dennis. I'll try to finish this up today so that you'll have the sample to look at, and you saw the process. And I will upload this video to our resources on the webpage like I have with the other ones as well. And hopefully this helps you guys, okay? Have fun with this project, okay? See you guys soon. Bye.